I think camps offers you today the ability to engage with peer companies. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to approve or decline you. You can learn what they're doing, and it's free.
And I'll just say that we support you in the process of identifying where you're at, where you're trying to go. And either you're preparing for an ask or you're in the middle of an ask. All of those cases, what we do is we just redirect you to the kind of people who have solutions to your situation.
Building a legacy starts with the bold decision to take a leap of faith. Behind every empire lies a foundation of grit, willpower, and the courage to take big risks. Welcome to Entrepreneurship Unlocked, where world shakers in the business world gather to share their stories. We're diving deep into the mindset of the modern entrepreneur to show you exactly what it takes to become truly unlocked. Join us in the pursuit of excellence with your host, Seth Rudin. This is Entrepreneurship Unlocked.
Hey there, welcome back to Entrepreneurship Unlocked. I have the honor to have Kirk Davis of Camps here, and he's going to introduce himself and Camps to you. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, Seth, it's great to be here with you. I'm Kirk Davis, Executive Director of Camps, the Center for Advanced Manufacturing. We are a membership association that supports the success and growth of manufacturers here in the Washington state. So it's a real pleasure to talk about what we're going to talk about today.
As you know, we do various topics. I'm a senior business broker with IBA, and we are proud members of Camps.
Yes.
And they represent manufacturing companies, industrial companies throughout Washington state. They offer them benefits. They bring in a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
And share resources amongst the group, if I'm correct.
That is correct. And a lot of manufacturers have a chance to meet each other. A lot of deals get done through networking and connections. But yes, we have employee health benefits that we offer to our members at a discounted rate, and a handful of other benefits, but including meetings and Zoom calls where we bring a lot of industry knowledge together.
So today we're going to talk about the Capital Accelerator, and it's exciting, a new program. It's really meant to help our members and people who want to join Camps on how to access funding. You know, it's not something you want to wait until you need it. You actually have to do a little bit of preventative maintenance, like going to the dentist, rather than just waiting until you need a root canal. And so we're going to talk about Capital Accelerator, although it's much more pleasant than a root canal. So maybe a bad analogy.
Well, it is a good analogy in terms of we want to prevent problems instead of putting out fires all the time. So yeah, the idea for the Capital Accelerator really came about as I came to talk to a lot of manufacturers. A lot of them were doing everything out of cash. So their inventory, their accounts receivable, and their equipment purchases, they save up their money and they use their cash. And I come from a finance background, having been a business banker, having been a CFO, and working with hundreds of businesses to help them find funding sources in my previous careers. And so I understood the importance of funding to manufacturers. And this isn't just bank loans, but it's any type of funding. So what we're looking for is grants, tax incentives, could be bank loans, could be investments. We are looking for anything to help fund the growth of manufacturing, because typically manufacturers kind of grow with the economy. If the economy is good, they do better. But if the economy is doing worse, they do worse. And we've seen with our aerospace manufacturers, if Boeing's orders are up, then they're up. And if Boeing's orders are down, they're down. But the idea of the Capital Accelerator is to help create a financial strength that allows us to kind of grow and excel beyond the economy and the factors that sometimes kind of keep manufacturers from growing.
So when I think of funding, and I'm looking at business as their, M&A advisor, I'm looking to see, do they have liquidity, working capital? Are they able to buy new equipment? Are they able to expand? Can you touch on the types of funding that you're referring to here and how you expect them to get it?
Yes, we have 18 financial partners in this accelerator. These are members of Camps we've worked with for years, like IBA. We work with attorneys, CPA firms, accounting firms, bankers. We have investment firms. We have attorney firms, lawyer firms, who all work with companies when it comes to some form of financing. And with these 18 companies, the big idea is that somebody can help you, or they know somebody who can help you get to that next level or next stage of your business. But like you mentioned, it takes a little bit of thinking ahead. When we work with the accelerator, we're supporting manufacturers to kind of figure out what are the opportunities for them. We have a monthly meeting. It's on the second Thursday of each month, where we meet with our 18 financial partners to discuss the opportunities for manufacturers. And so we're getting to hear some of the nuances of these new SBA loan programs for manufacturers. We're getting to hear about tax incentives that sometimes are harder to find if you're not in the know. And then we have workforce training partners who, some of our members have gotten $500,000 of workforce training grants. So they can invest in the upskilling or reskilling of their people. So these types of incentives and financial advantages are really important to manufacturers. We've had so many of our manufacturers who talk about the things that they've learned in camps, or the people that they've connected to in camps have really helped them move forward faster. And I don't know, members of camps are a little bit more forward thinking. So we're really excited to bring the Capital Accelerator. And one of the first things that we talk about is getting ready for funding. And Seth, I know you do this with businesses who are in the process of selling their company. You're saying, let's look ahead and let's figure out what that looks like. And so we're really no different in the Capital Accelerator, is we're just looking ahead, 2, 3, maybe 5 years to say, what are your growth opportunities if you had the funding. I'm preparing material for this upcoming meeting that we have on March 12th to show manufacturers what a company would look like if they use their own cash versus if they use appropriate, bank funding, tax incentives, and workforce training grants. But for the standard size manufacturing company, it can be millions of dollars more that they retain in their own cash flow by just using very wise, very sound financing principles.
I think every company needs a financing plan.
They do.
That you're describing. We call it an exit strategy on M&A.
Yeah.
I think you're calling it either a growth or a financing
plan.
plan.
Growth or financing plan. Yeah.
What I like about, the first things that Camps was doing without the Capital Accelerator was informally you were having people speak, but now you're sort of bringing it all together like you're a mastermind puppet handler, right? That you're bringing all the relevant people. So
yeah,
you have the big, beautiful bill. You had a CPA firm talk about all the tax incentives, right? Which is a way of liquidity and a way to make your profitability look better, so that when you go to get financing, you're more appealing to a bank. Right?
Yes.
You brought in some tax experts, right, who are going to help them. You have a bunch of banks and investment people and attorneys right there also.
Right. Well, Seth, one of the fun conversations you and I have had was kind of reviewing some of the creative financing that you've seen over the years. And that's what happens to a lot of businesses, is they get stuck. If you go for a conventional bank loan and for some reason they turn you down, people like some of our financial partners like Seth, they have seen this before, and they know that there are solutions out there. So in addition to maybe conventional approaches to finance and cash flow, our partners, they know a lot of people, they've had a lot of experience, they've seen a lot of things. So I think that you're right. This having this monthly meeting in the Capital Accelerator, talking to businesses to think ahead in terms of their cash flow needs, really gives them a chance to get ahead of the problems instead of, now I have a problem, I better go to the bank. Because that's a much harder position.
I had my own company. I was the CEO of it. It's very lonely at the top. I think Camps offers you today, if you take advantage of what Camps has, the ability to engage with peer companies. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to approve or decline you. You can learn what they're doing in a comfortable environment. And then you got, next to them in the same table in this Capital Accelerator, you have a banker, you have attorneys, you have all these people, and it's free. And just the cost of the membership you were doing anyway.
Yes. There's no additional cost to this. And I'll just say that the people who have been members of Camps have often, some of them have been there 18 years, 10 years, 5 years, but we've known them. And we have a no solicitation policy at Camps so that nobody's going to knock on your door and bother you. However, this forum gives us a chance to actually have really cool conversations about the possibilities of the future for manufacturing. It's an exciting time, with all the new technology that's coming out, the AI, the robotics, the automation, and many more. Camps features almost every month an innovation forum where we're learning from these new tech entrepreneurs, solutions to make manufacturing better and easier. So anyway, it gets very exciting actually to think about the future of manufacturing.
What have you seen today? Like some of your members, have you seen them getting lines of credit? What are the different investment vehicles you've heard them talk about?
Well, I'll mention that about 85% of manufacturers are underfunded. So actually, we've heard of some of this going on, but actually it's something that doesn't happen as much. I was having a conversation with a manufacturer. They had millions of dollars of equipment in their shop, and they said, we paid cash for every bit of this because we've been to the banks and we've been turned down by the banks. So we just thought we just had to go it on our own. And I mentioned some of the advantages of using some real common sense funding and financing principles. And he said, I really wish I had talked to you before, because he said, he says, I can see now that I would have grown much faster had I done that. So I think what we're talking about is the fact that using other people's money wisely protects your cash flow. I mean, when you're looking at a business, Seth, and you see that they have a lot of cash, it makes the deal a lot easier.
It definitely does. If I'm looking at a manufacturing company and they have lots of CNC and steel bending, big machinery, and you got a reasonable amount of cash, but they don't have a line of credit, then the question is how do you expand when that one machine breaks down or comes to end of life? How are you going to secure that? So I am looking at that. And that's what buyers are looking at too, is how well funded, how strong is the balance sheet? Did they plan it out?
You're right. And that's what we have an opportunity to talk about. That's what we have a chance to do. And we all get better. We all get smarter. We see opportunities. And like you mentioned, if you're in the room with people who have been there, done that, and you hear some new ideas, it's really cool to come back and look at your balance sheet and say, maybe there's a better way to do this.
I know you covered some of it here, but I'm going to ask you the question, what should a business owner do to identify their needs, and how would they prepare going into asking for funds?
Well, it's interesting with our financial partners, because I've asked that question of our financial partners, and we have 2 or 3 of them in there that is their specialty, is really looking at the financial structure of manufacturing companies and saying, with what you have here are the possibilities, or if we could improve this or improve that, you'll be in a much stronger position to get more funding. So yeah, we have some excellent partners. And so it's not that camps or myself that we have this expertise ourselves, but our financial partners are able to take a look at your financials, and we don't get involved in any of your confidential information. However, once a question that people have is, well, what if I have my own banker, my own accountant? Do I need to use these financial partners? And the answer is no. You're not compelled at all to use these financial partners. You can use your banker, you can use your accountant. However, just having these conversations can really broaden your thinking, give you great questions to ask. So whether you want to use your own resources or one of these camps partners, there's a way forward to think about the future, the success of the future, and to create sustainable growth for manufacturing.
I think that's a wonderful resource and a great way to put it. How does if somebody wants to participate in your group, they're a member of camps and they want to participate, what should they do?
All they have to do is reach out to me. My contact information is all over our website. That's the camps-us.com website. So they can reach out to me, and then we'll enroll them in the process. And we support you in the process of identifying, where you're at, where you're trying to go. And either you're preparing for an ask, or you're in the middle of an ask, or you've been turned down by a bank or other lender or investor. And in all of those cases, what we do is we just redirect you to the kind of people who have solutions to your situation.
And I take it, if you're not in camps, but you want to join camps or just be in the
Capital Accelerator, reach out to me.
Same thing.
Yeah, from the website. Yeah.
Great. From your perspective, I want to share from mine too, but what else should business owners need to know?
Here's something to think about, is that the majority of manufacturers are considered small businesses. 93% of manufacturers have less than 100 employees. And most manufacturers, they financially kind of get stuck between 20 and 40 employees. So our goal now is to help manufacturers grow. We talked about this, the need we have for manufacturing capability, but we believe that we have the capability. It's just that we don't always have the capacity. So by having these funding conversations, we're trying to help manufacturing leaders scale their companies to get beyond that, 30 or 40 employees to larger capability. Because when I talk to manufacturers, last year was a little bit up and down for some of them, but most of them are saying there's tons of opportunity, but it's a question of, are you ready for the opportunity? I think manufacturing's on a roll right now. We know that orders are up. We know that the opportunities are plentiful, but we just want to strengthen our manufacturers to be ready for bigger opportunities.
And the government's trying to help. There's lots of programs that are out there. There's members who spoke in one of our accelerators, which to reshare their tidbits is Mark. Mark is a government program to help liquidity in the manufacturing sector. So if you have the right NAICS code as a manufacturer, you can actually get a working capital loan, but pay it over 20 years rather than 10. That's huge. And then for smaller acquisitions, if you want to acquire an adjacent business and it's less than $1 million, they'll waive the fee.
Oh, wow.
Right. They really want to bring back manufacturing in the United States. People can have their political opinions about tariffs, but they are trying to bring it back, and they're using the SBA and other tools. There's more than just the SBA out there. All the bankers that are in this accelerator I've met personally.
Yes.
The other thing, for the business owners who may be too busy to participate, when I go to your meetings, there's other business owners.
Yeah.
They seem to be extremely happy. They keep coming and they're getting a lot out of it. It's really about, I think, what you put in is what you get out.
That's a great way to say it. And the Capital Accelerator is a really cool way to invest your time with really great people who can help your business move forward. So they're going to be great conversations there.
Thank you for everything, for telling your story about the Capital Accelerator.
I appreciate it.
And I look forward to seeing you at the next great event that Camps brings on.
All right. Seth, I really appreciate it. Everybody have a good day.
Thank you, guys. You know how to reach us. Have a great day. Thank you.